Hello, everyone. Welcome to Today English Podcast, your place to learn, grow, and improve your English in a fun and easy way. I'm so happy that you're here with me today. Maybe you're listening while you're at home, going for a walk, cooking, or just relaxing. Wherever you are, thank you for spending this time with me and for joining me on this journey to better English. Today we are going to talk about something very special. Something that can truly change your life. It can help you become a better English speaker, a better thinker, and a more confident person. Yes, we are talking about reading. Now, maybe you're thinking, reading? Oh, that's hard. I don't know what to read. I don't have time. Don't worry. You are not alone. Many English learners feel the same way. But today, I'm going to show you why reading is not just important. It's also fun, easy, and very powerful. Reading is like a magic key. It opens doors to knowledge, new ideas, and better English skills. Do you want to speak more clearly? Do you want to understand English faster and easier? Do you want to feel more confident when you talk to people? Then reading is your best friend. I know that learning English can sometimes feel difficult. Maybe you listen to native speakers and they talk too fast. Maybe you see long words in a book and you don't know what they mean. Maybe you feel nervous when you try to speak English. But guess what? Reading can help you with all of these things. In this episode, I will tell you why reading is so important, especially for English learners like you. I will also give you some simple and useful tips to make reading easy and enjoyable. So if you want to improve your English faster, smarter, and in a more relaxed way, stay with me till the end. Before we start, I want to ask you a question. Do you read in English? If your answer is yes, that's amazing. Keep it up. If your answer is no, don't worry. By the end of this episode, I think you'll feel excited and ready to start reading. So grab your headphones, take a deep breath, relax, and let's begin this journey together. Stay with me until the end, because I have some great tips that will make you fall in love with reading and help you improve your English faster than ever before. What is reading? Let's start with a simple question. What is reading? Reading means understanding written language. It means looking at words and knowing what they mean. When we read, our brain takes the letters and words we see and turns them into meaning and ideas. We can read silently in our minds, or we can read out loud. Reading helps us learn new things, share ideas, and grow as people. It is one of the most important skills in life. When we read, we don't just learn words, we learn about the world. We learn about people, emotions, and experiences that we may never have in our own lives. So reading is more than just looking at a page, it's a way of connecting with knowledge. It helps us think better, write better, and even speak better. How reading helps the brain. Reading is also very good for your brain. When you read, many parts of your brain work together. The parts that understand language, the parts that recognize pictures and patterns, and the parts that help you think deeply all become active. Reading is like exercise for your brain. Just like you go to the gym to make your body strong, you can train your brain by reading. The more you read, the stronger and faster your brain becomes. Scientists say that reading helps the brain build new connections. This is called brain plasticity. It means your brain becomes more flexible and learns new things more easily. Reading also helps improve memory, focus, and concentration. It teaches you how to pay attention and how to understand complex ideas step by step. But that's not all. Reading also helps you think more clearly and solve problems better. When you read stories, you imagine situations, you understand feelings, and you learn to see the world from different points of view. This builds emotional intelligence, the ability to understand yourself and others. And here's another great thing. Reading helps reduce stress. When you read a good book, your mind relaxes. You can escape from your worries and travel into another world without even leaving your chair. It's like a short vacation for your brain. Even reading for just 15 or 20 minutes a day can make a big difference. It can help you feel calmer, sleep better, and improve your mood. Why reading is important for English learners. Now, let's talk about why reading is especially important if you are learning English. When you read in English, you see the language in its natural form. You see how sentences are built, how words are used, and how ideas are connected. This helps you learn grammar and vocabulary naturally without even studying rules. Reading also helps your pronunciation. When you read, you start to hear the rhythm and sound of English in your head. Later, when you speak, your mouth remembers those sounds. Another big benefit is that reading gives you confidence. When you read more, you understand more. And when you understand more, you feel more comfortable when listening or speaking. Many learners think they need to memorize long word lists to learn English, but reading is a better way. When you read words in real sentences, you remember them more easily because you see how they are used in real life. So, what can you read? You don't need to read big or difficult books. Start with something small and simple. You can read short stories, news articles, children's books, or English blogs. You can even read English subtitles while watching a movie. That also counts as reading. The most important thing is to read something you enjoy. If you like stories, read stories. If you like sports, read about sports. If you like learning about people or travel, read about that. When you read what you love, it doesn't feel like study, it feels like fun. Final thoughts. Reading is one of the best ways to improve your English. It helps you learn new words, understand grammar naturally, think in English, and feel more confident. It makes your brain stronger and your heart happier. So from today, try to make reading a small part of your daily life. Even 10 or 15 minutes a day is enough to start. You can read in the morning, during lunch, or before bed. Just keep going little by little, your English will grow. Remember, reading is not a test. It's a journey, a beautiful journey that opens your mind and connects you with the world. So keep reading, keep learning, and keep believing in yourself. You're doing amazing, and every page you read brings you one step closer to the English you dream of speaking. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is Today English Podcast, helping you learn English with heart, mind, and joy. See you in the next episode. How reading helps your English speaking. Reading doesn't just help your brain, it also helps your English speaking in a big way. When you read, you see real English being used, correct grammar, natural sentence structure, and everyday vocabulary. You start to notice how words come together in real situations, and this helps you speak more naturally and confidently. Reading gives you examples of how native speakers express ideas. You see how they ask questions, how they describe feelings, how they tell stories, and how they connect ideas. Without even realizing it, you begin to copy these patterns when you speak. For example, when you read a story, you notice expressions like, "Guess what? You know what I mean? That sounds great." These small, natural phrases make your English sound more fluent and real. So, every time you read, even a short article, your brain is quietly learning the rhythm and melody of English. You start to feel how sentences flow, and you begin to hear English in your mind. This is a very powerful step towards speaking naturally. Reading aloud builds confidence. Here's another great thing. When you read aloud, your speaking improves even faster. Why? Because when you read aloud, you practice pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm, 3 very important parts of spoken English. You train your mouth to move in new ways, and you get comfortable with English sounds. You also learn how to pause, how to stress certain words, and how to express emotion with your voice. In the beginning, it might feel a little strange to read aloud, but trust me, it works. You can start small, read just 1 paragraph a day, or listen to an audiobook and read along with it. When you hear the correct pronunciation and repeat it, you build muscle memory in your mouth and tongue. Slowly, your English will start sounding more natural and confident. Reading and speaking work together. Reading and speaking are like two best friends. They help each other grow. When you read more, you speak better. When you speak more, you understand what you read more deeply. Reading gives you the foundation you need for effective communication. It grows your vocabulary, helps you understand grammar naturally, and teaches you different communication styles. Think about it this way. When you read, you collect words and phrases. When you speak, you use them. The more you read, the more tools you have to express your thoughts clearly and correctly. Reading also improves your understanding. When you understand how English sentences are built, it becomes easier to respond quickly in real conversations. You don't have to stop and think too much about grammar, you just speak, because your brain already knows the pattern from reading. Thinking in English. One of the biggest challenges for learners is thinking in English. Many people translate their thoughts from their native language into English before speaking. This makes speaking slow and sometimes stressful, but reading helps fix that. When you read a lot in English, your brain starts to process ideas directly in English. You begin to think in English without even trying. It's like changing the language inside your head. For example, instead of thinking, then translating to I am hungry, you'll just think I'm hungry instantly. That's fluency, and reading helps you reach it naturally. Learning real English from reading. Reading also exposes you to many styles of English. When you read dialogues or stories, you learn informal, friendly English, the kind people use every day. When you read news or academic articles, you learn formal English, the kind used in school, work, and presentations. Reading teaches you slang, idioms, and cultural expressions that you can't always learn from textbooks. You start to understand jokes, humor, and emotional tones. This makes your spoken English sound more flexible and real. For example, from stories, you might learn phrases like, "It's not my cup of tea," means I don't really like it. "Break the ice," means start a friendly conversation. "Piece of cake," means something easy. When you use these phrases naturally, you sound more like a fluent English speaker. Reading makes you smarter and stronger. Reading is also one of the best exercises for your mind. It's not just about words, it's about thinking. When you read, your brain becomes active and alert. It learns to focus, to remember, and to understand complex ideas. Reading fiction, like novels and stories, is especially powerful. It helps you feel what other people feel. You experience different emotions and situations through the characters. This makes you more understanding and empathetic in real life. So reading doesn't only make your English better, it makes you a kinder and wiser person. Reading keeps the brain healthy. Did you know that reading can actually keep your brain young? Yes! Studies show that reading regularly keeps your brain active and sharp, even as you grow older. It's like doing exercise for your mind. It keeps it flexible and strong. People who read often have better focus, better memory, and better problem-solving skills. They can learn new things faster and adapt to new situations more easily. So if you make reading a daily habit, you are not just learning English, you are building a healthy, strong brain for life. Why reading and speaking grow together? When you read, you collect vocabulary. When you speak, you use it. When you read, you understand grammar. When you speak, you put it into action. That's why reading and speaking are like two parts of one body. They work together to help you communicate with confidence. If you want to improve your speaking, read something every day. It doesn't have to be long. Even reading one short article, a few pages of a book, or a short dialogue can help a lot. You can choose different kinds of reading like stories and novels, news articles, English blogs, conversations or movie scripts, poems or inspirational quotes. All of these help you learn English in different ways. Final message. Reading is one of the most powerful skills you can ever learn. It's not only about understanding words on a page, it's about opening your mind to new ideas, new cultures, and new ways of thinking. For English learners, reading is your secret superpower. It helps you improve vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, and confidence, all at the same time. So, try to make reading a small but regular part of your life. Read something you enjoy, even for 10 or 15 minutes a day. Little by little, your English will become stronger, clearer, and more natural. Remember, every page you read takes you one step closer to the English speaker you want to be. So keep reading, keep speaking, and keep believing in yourself. Thank you for listening to Today English Podcast, where learning English is simple, joyful, and full of heart. See you next time, and until then, keep reading, keep growing, and keep smiling. Open Book. The benefits of reading. Reading is not only a way to learn English, it's also a way to grow as a person. It helps your brain, your emotions, your creativity, and even your mental health. In this part, let's explore the most important benefits of reading and why you should make it a daily habit. 1. Reading improves language skills. One of the best ways to learn a language is through reading. When you read in English, you see how real people use words in sentences. You start to notice how grammar works, how ideas connect, and how tone changes in different situations. Unlike memorizing grammar rules from a book, reading helps you learn naturally. You don't have to force yourself to remember past tense or prepositions. You see them again and again in real sentences. Slowly, your brain begins to understand patterns and meaning automatically. Every time you read something new, maybe a short story, a blog, or even a social media post, you learn new vocabulary. You discover new words and phrases in real context, not from a list. This makes it easier to remember them and use them correctly later. For example, if you read the phrase, "she ran out of time," you'll understand that it means she didn't have enough time, not that she literally ran somewhere. Reading teaches you meaning through experience, not just memorization. Over time, your speaking and writing both improve because you have more words and ideas to express yourself clearly. So, if you want to speak English better, start reading more. 2. Reading expands knowledge and ideas. Every book, article, or story you read opens a window to a new world. When you read, you are not just learning English, you are also learning about life, people, cultures, and ideas. If you read fiction, you travel to new places and experience lives that are different from your own. If you read history, you understand how the world has changed. If you read science books, you learn how things work. If you read biographies, you discover the real stories of great people and the lessons they learned. Reading introduces you to different cultures, traditions, and ways of thinking. You begin to see the world from different points of view. You learn empathy, the ability to understand what others feel and why they act the way they do. So every time you open a book, you open your mind. Even the simplest story can teach you something valuable, a new idea, a new word, or even a small truth about life. 3. Reading improves focus and memory. Let's be honest, we live in a world full of distractions. Our phones, notifications, messages, and social media are always calling for attention. It's hard to stay focused for long periods. But reading is a beautiful way to train your brain to concentrate. When you read, you must stay focused on the words, follow the story, and remember the details. You can't keep jumping from one thing to another. Your mind has to stay present. This regular focus helps your brain become stronger and more disciplined. It improves your ability to pay attention, not only when reading, but also in studying, working, and daily life. Reading also helps build memory. Every time you read, you remember characters, settings, events, and ideas. Your brain connects this information and stores it for later. Over time, this practice strengthens your memory and helps you recall information faster. So, if you want a sharper mind and better focus, try reading a few pages every day. It's like gentle exercise for your brain. 4. Reading reduces stress and improves mental health. Life can sometimes feel stressful. We have work, studies, responsibilities, and worries that never seem to stop. But reading can be your calm place, your quiet friend that helps you relax. When you open a book, your mind focuses on the story instead of your problems. You leave the noise of the world for a while and enter a peaceful world of imagination. This gives your brain a break and helps your heart feel lighter. Reading can reduce stress, lower anxiety, and even help you sleep better. It can also bring you comfort when you're sad or tired. Many people find that reading before bed helps them relax and forget the worries of the day. And here's something beautiful. When you read emotional stories, you connect with the characters and understand different feelings: joy, sadness, hope, and courage. This helps you understand your own emotions better and builds emotional balance. So, whenever you feel stressed, try picking up a book instead of scrolling your phone. Let reading be your small act of peace. 5. Reading develops imagination and creativity. Have you ever read a book and imagined what the characters looked like? Or pictured the places and events in your mind? That's your imagination working, and reading is what activates it. When you read, you don't just see words, you create pictures in your mind. You imagine sounds, feelings, and scenes. You build a whole world from simple sentences. This process makes your imagination stronger and helps you think creatively. Creative thinking isn't just for artists or writers, it's useful in every part of life. When you think creatively, you can solve problems, make better decisions, and see new possibilities. Reading helps your brain practice this creative process. Every page challenges you to imagine and understand. That's why people who read often are usually more creative and open-minded. So, if you want to think differently, if you want to have new ideas, read more stories. Books are like a playground for your imagination. 6. Reading improves communication skills. Reading also helps you communicate better, not only in English, but in any language. When you read, you see how writers express ideas clearly and beautifully. You notice how they organize their thoughts, how they explain things, and how they connect sentences smoothly. This helps you learn how to express your own ideas clearly when you speak or write. You learn how to use tone, emotion, and the right words to share your message effectively. Reading also improves listening skills. Because when you read often, your brain gets used to recognizing natural patterns of speech. When you listen to people speak, you understand faster and more accurately. In short, reading makes you a better communicator, someone who can understand others and express thoughts with clarity and confidence. 7. Reading builds confidence. When you read more, you learn more. And when you learn more, you feel more confident, both in English and in life. You'll have more ideas to share, more words to use, and more topics to talk about. Reading gives you the power to join conversations, express opinions, and connect with people from different backgrounds. It helps you feel ready to speak, ready to think, ready to explore. So every time you finish a book or even a small article, feel proud of yourself. You are building not only your English, but also your confidence step by step. Final thought. Reading is one of the simplest and most powerful habits you can ever build. It helps your language, your mind, your heart, and your imagination. It makes you more focused, calm, creative, and confident. So, if you haven't made reading a daily habit yet, start today. You don't have to read a lot, even 10 minutes a day is enough. Just keep going, keep exploring, and keep learning. Remember, every page you read brings you a little closer to the person you want to become: smarter, stronger, and more confident. Thank you for being with me today on Today English Podcast. Keep reading, keep growing, and keep believing in yourself. You are doing amazing, and your next page is waiting for you. Sleep quality, because it helps the mind slow down before rest. When you make reading a daily habit, especially before bed, it can create a peaceful routine that helps you unwind and prepare for a good night's sleep. Builds empathy and emotional intelligence. Reading fiction, in particular, helps you understand other people's emotions, motivations, and perspectives. When you follow a character's story, you step into their shoes and experience their joys, struggles, and thoughts. This develops empathy, the ability to understand and share the feelings of others. Over time, it also improves your emotional intelligence, helping you communicate more kindly, resolve conflicts better, and build stronger relationships. Strengthens discipline and consistency. Making reading a regular habit requires self-discipline. At first, it may feel difficult to find time to read every day, but as you continue, it becomes part of your routine. This builds consistency, patience, and focus, qualities that are useful in every part of life. Even reading just 10 to 15 minutes daily can make a big difference over time. Improves decision-making and problem-solving. Reading gives you access to many ideas, examples, and experiences from others. You learn how people in different situations make decisions, solve problems, and overcome challenges. This can help you think more clearly and make better choices in your own life. Nonfiction books, in particular, such as biographies, psychology, or personal growth books, can teach valuable lessons about real-world decision-making. Makes you a more confident and interesting person. When you read regularly, you always have something new to talk about. You can share stories, facts, or ideas you've learned, which makes conversations more engaging and meaningful. You also feel more confident because your knowledge and vocabulary grow, and you can express your thoughts clearly. Confidence in communication is one of the biggest benefits of reading. Why reading is so important for English learners. Reading is one of the best ways to learn English. It helps you grow your vocabulary, understand grammar naturally, and become a more confident speaker. But reading is not only about learning words. It also helps you think better, focus longer, and understand people and ideas more deeply. Let's explore how reading can help you learn English faster and enjoy the journey more. 1. Reading improves vocabulary. One of the biggest challenges in learning English is learning new words. Many learners try to memorize long word lists, but this can be boring and hard to remember. Reading makes it easier and more natural. When you read, you see words used in real sentences. You understand how people use them in context. For example, if you read a story, you may see the same word in different situations, in questions, in descriptions, or in dialogue. This helps you understand the real meaning of the word and how to use it correctly. You don't need to stop and translate every word. Sometimes you can guess the meaning from the sentence. Over time, you will notice that new words start to feel familiar. Slowly, your vocabulary grows, and you can speak and write more clearly and confidently. 2. Reading helps you understand grammar naturally. Many students say grammar is difficult. And yes, learning grammar rules can feel confusing. But reading makes grammar easier. When you read, you see how grammar works in real English. You don't just study rules, you see them in action. You see how people use past tense, present perfect, or conditional sentences. You see how questions and negatives are formed. At first, you may not even notice it. But your brain is learning in the background. The more you read, the more your brain starts to recognize patterns. You begin to use correct grammar automatically, without thinking about the rules. So, reading helps you learn grammar naturally and effortlessly. 3. Reading improves pronunciation and speaking fluency. Reading may look like a quiet activity, but it can also help your speaking. When you read, you see how words are written, and in your mind, you can hear their sounds. If you read aloud, it becomes even more powerful. You practice saying words clearly. You learn the rhythm and flow of English sentences. You notice where to pause and where to put stress in a sentence. Many learners find English pronunciation difficult because the spelling and sounds don't always match. Reading regularly helps you recognize patterns and remember how words should sound. Little by little, Your speaking becomes smoother, more natural, and more confident. 4. Reading helps improve listening skills. Reading and listening are connected. When you read, you get familiar with how English sentences are built, how ideas connect, and how people express themselves. So, when you listen to English in movies, songs, or conversations, you understand more easily because your brain already knows these patterns. For example, if you often read short stories or articles, you will begin to recognize common phrases and expressions. When you hear them later, they will sound familiar. That's why reading is also one of the best ways to improve your listening naturally. 5. Reading improves concentration and focus. In today's world, it's easy to get distracted. We check our phones, scroll on social media, and switch between many things at once. But reading is different. When you read, you need to focus. You follow the story, pay attention to words, and think about what they mean. This trains your brain to concentrate better and stay focused for longer periods of time. This skill helps you not only in studying English, but also in work, school, and everyday life. The more you read, the stronger your attention becomes. 6. Reading reduces stress and helps you relax. Life can sometimes feel busy or stressful. Work, study, and responsibilities can take a lot of energy. Reading can help you relax. When you read a good book or article, your mind focuses on the story instead of your worries. You travel to another world, meet new characters, and forget your stress for a while. Reading before bed can also help you sleep better. It calms your mind and helps you slow down after a busy day. Even just 10 to 15 minutes of reading every night can make you feel more peaceful. 7. Reading develops imagination and creativity. Have you ever read a book and imagined what the characters looked like or how their voices sounded? That's the power of reading. Reading helps you create pictures in your mind. It builds your imagination and makes your thinking more creative. This skill is very useful in problem solving, writing, and even in daily communication. When you read stories, your brain learns to imagine different possibilities, and this helps you become more creative in life. 8. Reading improves communication skills. Good communication is important in everything at school, at work, or in personal relationships. Reading helps you become a better communicator. When you read, you see how authors express their ideas clearly. You learn how they organize their thoughts, use different words, and build strong sentences. This helps you write and speak better. You also become better at understanding other people because reading teaches you how to interpret meaning and emotion through language. 9. Reading helps you become a lifelong learner. Successful people all have one thing in common: they read regularly. Reading is a habit that keeps your mind active and helps you keep learning new things every day. You can learn about science, history, culture, personal growth, or anything that interests you. Every book or article gives you new ideas that can change the way you think. When you read often, you become curious, open-minded, and ready to learn for life. Glowing star final thoughts. Reading is more than just a hobby. It's a powerful way to grow. It helps you improve your English, expand your knowledge, reduce stress, and become more confident in communication. You don't need to read for hours every day. Start small, maybe 10 to 15 minutes a day. You can read stories, news, blogs, or books you enjoy. The most important thing is to make it a habit. Every page you read brings you closer to better English and a smarter, more confident version of yourself. So, what will you read today? Open Book Sparkles. How reading helps you become fluent in English. Reading is not only about learning new words or understanding stories, it is one of the most powerful ways to train your brain to think, speak, and feel in English. Let's explore how reading helps you become a more confident and fluent English speaker step by step. 1. Reading helps you understand spoken English. Reading and listening are closely connected. When you read, you train your brain to recognize English sentence patterns, word combinations, and common expressions. This helps you understand spoken English more easily. For example, if you often read conversations in books or stories, you'll start to recognize the same phrases when you listen to native speakers, things like, "How's it going?" or "That sounds great." You'll already be familiar with how English sentences are built and how people express ideas naturally. Because of this, your listening and overall communication skills improve faster. 2. Reading helps you think in English. One of the biggest challenges for learners is to think directly in English instead of translating from their native language. Reading helps you do this naturally. When you read, your brain processes English directly, not through translation. Over time, you start to understand words and sentences automatically. For example, if you read a story in English every night, your brain gets used to seeing and understanding English without translation. Slowly, you'll notice that you start forming your own thoughts in English too. This is a very important step toward real fluency. 3. Reading builds confidence in using English. Confidence is one of the most important parts of learning any language. Many learners feel shy or nervous about making mistakes when speaking or writing in English. Reading helps you build confidence because it shows you correct English every day. When you see the same words, grammar structures, and sentence patterns again and again, they start to feel natural. For example, if you read a short article every day, you'll start recognizing words and phrases easily. When you speak or write, those same phrases will come to your mind, and you'll use them more confidently. The more you read, the more comfortable you become with English. 4. Reading teaches you about culture. Language is not only about words and grammar, it is also about culture, traditions, and ways of thinking. When you read English books, newspapers, or online articles, you learn how people in English-speaking countries think, communicate, and live. For example, reading a story set in the UK or the US can teach you about daily life, customs, humor, and even common manners. You begin to understand how native speakers use language in different situations: formal, friendly, serious, or funny. This cultural understanding helps you communicate more naturally and respectfully in real conversations. 5. Reading improves writing skills. Good writers are almost always good readers. That's because reading teaches you how writing really works. When you read, you notice how sentences are built, how paragraphs are connected, and how ideas flow smoothly. You also see different writing styles: formal, creative, academic, and conversational. By reading regularly, you learn how to organize your own ideas better and how to use grammar correctly in your writing. So whether you want to write essays, emails, or even social media posts in English, reading gives you the foundation to write clearly and effectively. 6. Reading makes learning enjoyable. Learning English doesn't have to be difficult or boring. Reading can be one of the most enjoyable ways to practice English. There are so many kinds of books and articles to choose from: short stories, news articles, self-improvement books, or even comic books. When you read something you like, learning becomes fun. You don't even feel like you are studying, you just enjoy the story or the information. And while you enjoy it, your English is improving naturally. That's why reading is a great way to stay motivated and keep learning for a long time. 7. Reading helps you become a lifelong learner. English is a global language. When you read in English, you open the door to a world full of knowledge. You can learn about history, science, business, psychology, or anything that interests you. Most of the world's information is available in English, so reading in English helps you learn something new every day. Successful people around the world read regularly because they know that reading keeps the mind active and full of ideas. When you make reading a daily habit, you don't just improve your English, you also grow as a person. Seedling final message. Reading is one of the best ways to improve your English skills. It helps you expand your vocabulary, understand grammar naturally, improve pronunciation, build confidence, and even learn about culture. Most importantly, reading makes learning enjoyable. You don't have to read for hours every day, even 15 minutes a day can make a big difference. So find something you love, a story, an article, or a book, and start reading today. The more you read, the more fluent, confident, and open-minded you will become. So, what will you read next? Opa Book Sparkles. Blossom How to Read in English, More Helpful Tips for Learners. You don't need to read for hours every day to improve your English. The most important thing is not the amount of time, but how often and how consistently you read. Even short reading sessions can help you grow if you make them a regular part of your life. Let's look at a few more practical tips to make your reading time more useful and enjoyable. Tulip 4. Use a dictionary, but not too much. While reading, you will always find some new or difficult words. That's completely normal. In fact, it's part of the learning process. A dictionary is a great tool. It helps you understand meanings and learn correct usage. But you should be careful. If you stop reading every few seconds to check every new word, you will lose your focus. Instead, try this. Backhand index pointing right when you see a new word. Don't stop right away. Look at the words around it. Backhand index pointing right, try to guess the meaning from the context, from the sentence or situation. Backhand index pointing right, continue reading to understand the main idea. If the word appears many times, or if it's important for understanding the text, then you can look it up later. You can also keep a small notebook while reading. Write down new or confusing words there. After you finish reading, check their meanings calmly. This way, you keep your reading flow smooth, and you also get extra vocabulary practice later. Remember, reading should feel enjoyable and natural, not like a test. Blossom 5. Take notes and make flashcards. Writing helps you remember. So when you read, take notes. Keep a small notebook or a digital note file where you write down new words or expressions you like. Interesting phrases. Sentences that sound natural. Words you see often but don't understand fully. After reading, go through your notes again. Read them out loud. Try to make your own example sentences with those new words. You can also make flashcards. It's a very fun and effective way to learn vocabulary. Backhand index pointing right on one side of the card, write the English word. Backhand index pointing right on the other side, write the meaning or better, a short sentence using that word. For example, front, improve. Back, I want to improve my English reading skills. If you like, you can add the translation in your language, but try to focus more on English context. Review your flashcards every few days. The more often you see the words, the stronger they stay in your memory. Herb 6. Read aloud sometimes. Reading aloud is one of the best ways to connect reading and speaking. When you read out loud, you practice pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation. You learn how sentences flow in natural English. At first, it might feel strange or difficult. But the more you do it, the more confident you become. Here's how to practice. Start with short, simple paragraphs. Read slowly and clearly. Pay attention to stress, which words sound stronger in a sentence. Try to feel the natural rhythm of English. You can even record yourself and listen later. Notice how you sound. Are you speaking clearly? Are your sentences smooth? With time, this practice helps your pronunciation improve and builds your confidence in speaking English. So, next time you read something interesting, say it out loud. Sunflower 7. Break long texts into small parts. Sometimes, reading long or difficult texts can feel overwhelming. That's okay. The secret is to break them into smaller pieces. Don't try to read everything at once. Instead, read one paragraph or one short section at a time. After reading each part, stop for a few seconds and think. Backhand index pointing right, what did I just read? Backhand index pointing right, what was the main idea? Backhand index pointing did I understand it? If you didn't understand, no problem, just go back and read it again slowly. You can also write a short summary in your notebook. This helps you remember what you read and improves your comprehension. When you break a big text into smaller parts, it feels easier and less stressful. You'll also learn to focus better and understand more deeply. Cherry Blossom 8. Read with a clear purpose. Before you start reading, ask yourself a simple question. Why am I reading this? Are you reading for fun? Are you reading to learn new vocabulary? Or maybe to understand a specific topic for school or work? Having a clear purpose helps you stay focused. For example, if you're reading for pleasure, just relax and enjoy the story. Don't worry about every detail. If you're reading to learn new words, keep a notebook beside you and write them down. If you're reading for study or work, highlight important points or take notes to remember key ideas. When you know why you're reading, your mind stays more active and your learning becomes deeper. Reading with purpose turns it from a simple activity into a powerful learning tool. Blossom final thoughts. Reading in English can be simple, enjoyable, and full of benefits if you do it the right way. You don't need to read for hours. You just need to read regularly. Use a dictionary when you need it, but don't let it stop your flow. Take notes, make flashcards, and read aloud to improve memory and pronunciation. Break big texts into small pieces so you never feel tired or lost. And finally, always read with a purpose. Know what you want to get from the text. Every page you read helps your English grow a little more. So keep reading, stay curious, and enjoy the journey. Herb Sparkles. Tulip What to Read, the best kinds of books and materials for English learners. Reading is one of the best ways to improve your English. But sometimes learners ask, what should I read? That's a very good question. The truth is, you can read many different kinds of materials in English. The most important thing is to choose something that matches your level and interests you. Let's look at some of the best types of reading materials for English learners, starting from easier ones and slowly moving to more advanced options. Herb 1. Graded readers, easy versions of famous books. When you start reading in English, it's important not to choose something too hard. A great way to begin is by reading graded readers. Graded readers are special versions of popular books written in simpler English. They use shorter sentences and easier vocabulary, but the story is still interesting and enjoyable. For example, you can find easier versions of The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, Pride and Prejudice, Alice in Wonderland. These books are rewritten for English learners, so you can enjoy classic stories without feeling lost or frustrated. As your skills improve, you can move to higher levels, from beginner to intermediate, and later to advanced versions. Graded readers are perfect for building confidence. You feel happy because you can understand a real English story, and that gives you motivation to keep reading more. Blossom 2. Children's books. Children's books are another wonderful choice for English learners. They use simple words, short sentences, and lots of pictures. Even though they are written for young native speakers, they are fun, interesting, and easy to understand. Here are some great children's books you can try. The Very Hungry Caterpillar by Eric Carle. Charlotte's Web by E. B. White. Matilda by Roald Dahl. Children's books help you learn common words and everyday phrases naturally. You'll also learn how English stories are told, how they begin, how they describe things, and how they end. Reading children's books is a fun way to improve your reading skills without pressure. It's simple, colorful, and relaxing. Cherry Blossom 3. Short stories. If you don't have much time, short stories are a perfect option. Short stories are quick to finish and give you a strong sense of achievement. You can read one complete story in a single sitting and still learn a lot of new vocabulary and grammar. Most short stories are written clearly and have a lesson or a message, which makes them meaningful and memorable. Here are some classic short story collections that are great for learners. Aesop's Fables, simple moral stories with easy English. The Happy Prince and Other Stories by Oscar Wilde, beautiful emotional tales. The Gift of the Magi by O. Henry, a touching Christmas story with a surprise ending. Reading short stories helps you improve your reading speed, understanding, and vocabulary, while also keeping you entertained. You can read one story each day and make it a relaxing habit. Sunflower 4. News articles for learners. Reading news in English helps you learn about the world and improve your language skills at the same time. However, real news websites often use difficult words and complex grammar. The good news is, there are special news websites made for English learners. These websites rewrite real news in simple and clear English, so you can easily understand them. Some of the best options are BBC Learning English News, clear, short, and interesting news stories. News in Levels, articles available at beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels. The Times in Plain English, real news stories rewritten in easy language. When you read the news, you learn how English is used in real life, how people describe events, share opinions, and report facts. If the website includes audio, you can also listen while reading. This helps you improve both your reading and listening skills at the same time. It's a great daily habit. Read one short news story each morning and see your English grow. Hibiscus 5. Blogs and online articles. If you like reading about your hobbies and interests, blogs and online articles are perfect for you. There are thousands of blogs on the internet about travel, cooking, health, self-improvement, technology, and many more topics. You can easily find something you enjoy and learn English naturally at the same time. Here are some great websites to try. ESL Reading Smart, articles made especially for English learners. ThoughtCo ESL, interesting and educational articles written in easy English. Medium.com, a big website with articles on many topics. Some are easy, some are more advanced. Blogs and online articles teach you real conversational English, the kind of language that native speakers use every day. They often include modern phrases, idioms, and expressions that will make your English sound more natural. So next time you're online, instead of scrolling social media, read one blog post in English. You'll learn something new and fun at the same time. Blossom 6. Comic books and graphic novels. Comic books and graphic novels are another great reading option, especially if you find long texts difficult. Because they use pictures along with words, they are easier to understand. The images help you guess meanings and follow the story even if you don't know every word. Comics are also great for learning dialogue, how people talk in everyday English. You'll see a lot of natural, short conversations that can help you in real life. Some popular and easy comics or graphic novels for English learners include Garfield, funny and simple. Peanuts, Charlie Brown, full of daily expressions. The Adventures of Tintin, exciting stories with clear English. Reading comics is not just for kids, it's a smart and enjoyable way to improve your reading skills while having fun. Sunflower Final Thought. There are so many things you can read in English, from easy stories to online blogs, from short news articles to classic novels. You don't have to start with something difficult. Begin with simple materials that you like. Enjoy the stories, learn new words, and read a little every day. Soon, you'll notice that your understanding grows, your vocabulary increases, and English starts to feel more natural to you. So, what kind of book or article will you read next? Book Sparkles. Sunflower What to Read, Part 2, Fun and Useful Ways to Practice Reading in English. Reading does not always mean long novels or boring textbooks. There are many fun and interesting ways to read in English, and you can learn while enjoying yourself at the same time. In this section, let's look at some more ideas for reading materials that can help you practice English naturally and make learning more enjoyable. Blossom 1. Comic books and graphic novels. If you enjoy stories with pictures, comic books and graphic novels are a great option. Comics use both text and pictures, so it's easier to understand what's happening even if you don't know every word. The pictures help you follow the story, guess meanings, and remember new words more easily. Some popular and easy-to-read comics include Garfield, a funny comic about a lazy cat and his everyday adventures. Peanuts, classic stories about Charlie Brown, Snoopy, and their friends. Marvel or DC Comics, superhero stories full of action and fun, with simple and exciting dialogue. Reading comics helps you learn real conversations, short everyday expressions, and natural English. It's also a great way to practice reading for fun without too much difficulty. When you enjoy what you read, you learn faster and remember more. Cherry Blossom 2. English subtitles in movies and TV shows. Watching movies and TV shows is one of the most enjoyable ways to practice English. But do you know that using English subtitles can also help you improve your reading? When you watch a movie with English subtitles, you read the words while you listen to them at the same time. This helps you improve your reading speed, your listening skills, your pronunciation. Because your brain connects what you see, hear, and read together, you learn more naturally. Here are some great movies and shows for English learners. Friends, a funny comedy series with simple, everyday English and clear pronunciation. The Big Bang Theory, a mix of science and humor with easy-to-follow conversations. When you enjoy the topic, reading never feels like study or homework. It becomes a fun and relaxing activity, something you look forward to every day. So choose the topics that make you happy or curious. Maybe it's travel, cooking, science, or romance. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you enjoy reading it. The more you read, the faster your English will improve. You'll start to notice that your vocabulary grows, your grammar feels more natural, and your confidence increases day by day. Even 10 to 15 minutes of reading every day can make a big difference. So start today. Pick up a book, an article, or even a comic, and begin your English reading journey. Remember, every page you read is one small step toward fluency. Happy reading! Opa Book Sparkles. Blossom How to Make Reading a Habit. Reading in English is one of the most effective ways to improve your skills, but building a consistent reading habit can sometimes feel hard. Many learners start reading for a few days and then stop because they get busy or lose motivation. But the truth is, anyone can make reading a daily habit with the right mindset and simple strategies. Let's explore how you can make reading a natural and enjoyable part of your everyday life. How to Make Reading a Habit, Part 1. Reading is one of the best ways to improve your English, but sometimes it can be hard to make it a daily habit. Many people start reading with great motivation, but stop after a few days because they feel busy, tired, or overwhelmed. In this section, let's talk about how to make reading a natural part of your everyday life. With a few simple tips and the right mindset, you can turn reading into something you truly enjoy, not something that feels like work. Blossom 1. Start with small goals. One big reason people struggle to build a reading habit is that they try to do too much too quickly. For example, they decide to read a whole novel in 1 week or promise themselves to read for 2 hours every day. That sounds great, but it's not realistic, especially when you are just starting out. When your goal feels too big, it can make you feel tired or discouraged. So instead, start small. You can begin by reading for just 10 to 15 minutes every day. That's it. It's a small step, but it's a powerful one. You'll be surprised how much progress you can make with only a few minutes of daily reading. As you get used to it, you can slowly increase your reading time, maybe 20 minutes, then 30 minutes. Small, consistent steps are much better than big, stressful ones. Remember, it's not about how fast you read. It's about reading a little every day. When your goals are small, reading feels easier, more enjoyable, and less like a difficult task. Cherry Blossom 2. Read what you enjoy. This might be the most important tip of all. Read what you like. If you don't enjoy what you're reading, it will feel boring and hard to continue. But if the topic makes you curious or happy, you'll want to keep going. Whether it's fiction, nonfiction, comics, or blogs, the key is to choose something that truly interests you. If you love sports, read about your favorite teams or players. If you enjoy cooking, read recipes or food stories. If you like technology, fashion, or travel, there are endless articles, blogs, and short books about those topics. When you read something that matches your personal interests, it doesn't feel like studying English. It feels like exploring something fun. So don't force yourself to read serious books just because they seem educational. Choose what makes you smile, and you'll look forward to reading every day. Tulip 3. Set a specific time for reading. Building any habit needs consistency, and reading is no different. One simple way to stay consistent is to set a specific time every day for reading. It could be in the morning with your tea or coffee, during your lunch break, or at night before going to sleep. Pick a time that works best for you, a quiet moment when you can focus and relax. When you read at the same time every day, your brain starts to expect it. It becomes part of your daily routine, just like brushing your teeth or checking your phone. At first, you may need to remind yourself, but soon, it will feel natural, even enjoyable. The more consistent you are, the stronger your habit becomes. Sunflower 4. Create a comfortable reading environment. Where you read also makes a big difference. If your environment is noisy, uncomfortable, or full of distractions, it's harder to enjoy reading. Try to find a quiet and cozy place, maybe a corner of your room, a comfortable chair, or a sunny spot near a window. If you enjoy being outside, you can read in a park or garden. Good lighting is important too. Make sure you can see the words clearly so your eyes don't get tired. If you read on a screen, lower the brightness a little to make it easier on your eyes. When your reading space feels calm and pleasant, your mind can relax. You'll focus better and enjoy the experience more. A comfortable space encourages your brain to say, "This feels nice. Let's stay here and read a little longer." Blossom 5. Keep your books handy. Another simple but powerful trick is to keep your reading materials close to you. Many people want to read but forget to bring their book or don't have one ready when they have free time. If your book is always near you, you can easily pick it up anytime, even for a few minutes. You can carry a small book or an e-reader in your bag. Keep a book on your desk or next to your bed. Use a reading app on your phone or tablet. This way, whenever you have a few free moments, maybe while waiting for the bus, sitting in a cafe, or during lunch, you can open your book and read a few pages. Even 5 minutes of reading here and there can make a big difference over time. Having your book ready removes excuses like, "I don't have time," or "I forgot my book." You'll be surprised how many short reading moments you can find throughout your day. How to make reading a habit, Part 2. In the last section, we talked about starting small, reading what you enjoy, setting a time, creating a reading space, and keeping books close to you. Now, let's continue with more easy and powerful ways to build your daily reading habit. Cherry Blossom 6. Join a reading group or challenge. Sometimes, reading alone can feel quiet or lonely. But when you read with others, it can become exciting and full of energy. Joining a reading group is a great way to stay motivated and connected. A reading group is a small community of people who love books just like you. They read together, share their thoughts, and talk about what they've learned. In a group, you can discuss your favorite books or stories. Ask questions when you don't understand something. Get book recommendations from others. Stay motivated because everyone encourages each other. Even if there's no reading group near you, you can join one online. There are many book clubs and communities on Facebook, Reddit, or websites like Goodreads, where people from all over the world talk about books. You can also try a reading challenge. For example, read 12 books this year. Read for 15 minutes every day. Read one story in a new genre each month. Challenges make reading fun because they give you clear goals and a sense of achievement. When you finish a challenge, you feel proud, and that feeling helps you keep going. Being part of a reading group or challenge makes reading more social, more exciting, and much easier to continue. Tulip 7. Use audiobooks. Sometimes you may not have the time or energy to sit down and read a book. That's okay. You can still enjoy reading with audiobooks. Audiobooks let you listen to books instead of reading them. You can listen while you cook, clean, exercise, walk, or travel. This way, you can learn and enjoy stories even when you're busy. Listening to audiobooks also helps your listening and pronunciation skills. You hear the natural rhythm and tone of English, which makes it easier to speak later. There are audiobooks for every taste: classic stories, modern novels, self-help books, and more. You can find them on Audible, Spotify, YouTube, or free public library apps. A great idea is to combine reading and listening. For example, you can read a book while listening to the audiobook version. It helps you understand pronunciation, spelling, and meaning at the same time. Audiobooks make it easy to turn every moment, even chores, into a chance to practice English. Blossom 8. Track your progress. Seeing your progress helps you stay motivated. It reminds you that your small steps are leading to big results. You can keep a simple reading journal. In your notebook or phone, write down the books you've read, the time you spent reading, new words or ideas you learned, how you felt about the book. Looking back at your journal after a few weeks will make you feel proud. You'll see how much you've learned and how far you've come. If you prefer digital tools, you can use apps and websites like Goodreads. There, you can track what you've read, set yearly goals, rate books, and discover new ones that match your interests. Tracking your progress turns reading into a visible journey, one where you can celebrate every small success along the way. Sunflower 9. Be patient and don't give up. Making reading a habit takes time. Like any good habit, exercising, eating healthy, or learning something new, it doesn't happen overnight. At first, you might forget to read some days, or you might feel tired. That's completely normal. The secret is simple: don't give up. If you miss a day or two, just start again the next day. Don't feel guilty or discouraged, every page still counts. What matters most is consistency over time, not perfection. Even reading a few pages every day can bring big results. Slowly, you'll notice your English improving, you'll read faster, understand more, and enjoy the process. Remember, reading is not a race. It's a peaceful journey that gets better the more you do it. Blossom 10. Celebrate your successes. Finally, remember to celebrate yourself. Every little success matters. Did you finish a book? Wonderful, celebrate it. Did you read for 7 days in a row? That's amazing, be proud of it. You don't need a big reward. You can simply smile, tell a friend, or treat yourself to something small, maybe a cup of coffee, a movie night, or a new book. Celebrating your success makes you feel good about reading. It creates positive energy and helps your brain remember that reading is fun. And when something feels good, you naturally want to do it again. That's how habits grow, one small celebration at a time. Glowing star final thoughts. Making reading a habit is not about reading for hours every day. It's about reading a little, but often, and enjoying the process. When you start small, read what you love, stay consistent, and celebrate your progress, reading becomes part of who you are. So today, take the first step. Pick up a book, story, or article that interests you. Read just a few pages, and do it again tomorrow. Soon, you'll discover that reading in English feels natural, easy, and full of joy. Keep going and happy reading. Book Sparkles. Sunflower Final Thoughts. The power of reading in your English journey. Before we finish today's episode, let's take a deep breath and look back at what we've learned together. You've discovered not just why reading is important, but how you can make it a natural, enjoyable part of your daily life. Let's go over the key lessons slowly, simply, and clearly. Cherry Blossom 1. The power of reading for language learning. Reading is one of the most powerful tools for learning English. It's more than just looking at words on a page. It's about feeling the language and connecting with it deeply. Every time you read, you are training your brain to think in English. You learn how words fit together, how sentences are built, and how ideas are expressed. You start to understand the rhythm of the language, how people really speak and write. Reading helps you in many ways. It expands your vocabulary naturally. It improves your grammar without memorizing rules. It helps you understand tone, style, and emotion in English. It teaches you how to express your own thoughts clearly and confidently. And the best part? You can learn all this in a peaceful, enjoyable way simply by reading something you like every day. Whether you choose storybooks, news articles, blogs, or even comic books, every page helps. Each sentence you read is another step forward in your English learning journey. Remember, every page matters. Each time you read, you are getting stronger, smarter, and closer to fluency. 2. The benefits of building a reading habit. Building a reading habit can completely change the way you learn English. When reading becomes part of your daily life, English stops being just a subject, it becomes a natural part of who you are. You don't have to read for hours. Even 10 or 15 minutes a day is enough to make a big difference. The secret is simple: consistency. A few pages every day are better than reading a lot once a month. When you read regularly, your brain gets used to the language. You start to recognize words faster, understand meaning more easily, and feel more confident using English. Reading every day helps you stay in touch with English naturally. Learn without pressure or stress. Grow step by step, week after week. It's just like watering a plant. You don't pour all the water at once. You give it a little every day. And before long, it grows beautifully. Your English will grow in the same way if you feed it daily through reading. So, make reading your small daily gift to yourself, a peaceful moment where you learn, grow, and enjoy. Blossom 3. Start today, take action. Now that you know the power of reading, the next step is simple. Start today. You don't need to wait for the perfect book or the perfect time. The best time to begin is right now. Even if you read for only 5 or 10 minutes, that's enough to begin. Pick something short and interesting, maybe a simple story, a short article, or a few pages from a book you've always wanted to read. The goal is not perfection. The goal is progress. Remember, every small step adds up over time. What matters most is that you keep going. If you keep reading a little every day, you'll be amazed by how much your English improves in a few weeks or months. You'll notice that you can understand faster, speak with more confidence, and even start thinking in English naturally. So don't wait. Find something that inspires you and begin your reading journey today. Sunflower 4. Believe in yourself. Sometimes learning a language can feel slow or difficult. You might feel like you're not improving fast enough. But remember, every time you read, you are improving, even if you don't notice it yet. Be kind to yourself. Be patient. And believe in your progress. Learning English is not a race. It's a journey, and reading is one of the best travel partners you can have. Each book, each article, and each story you read will teach you something new, not only about English, but also about the world, about people, and about yourself. So, keep going. Keep learning. Keep reading. Because when you read, you grow not just in your language skills, but in your heart and mind too. Glowing Star Final Message. Reading is more than just a learning tool. It's a doorway to a new world. Through reading, you can explore new ideas, cultures, dreams, and possibilities. You can meet people from different times and places, all from the comfort of your home. So today, promise yourself this. You will read something, no matter how small, every single day. Make it part of your life, like brushing your teeth or drinking water. Do it with love, not pressure. Because the more you read, the more confident, capable, and fluent you will become. Your English will grow stronger, your mind will grow sharper, and your world will grow wider. Books, thank you for joining me today. I hope this episode inspired you to make reading your daily friend. Remember, one page a day can change your life. So pick up your book, take a deep breath, and begin. You're not just learning English, you're building your future. Happy reading, and see you in the next episode. Rainbow Sparkles. Continue your reading journey. Simple tips for everyday success. Now that we've talked about why reading is powerful for your English learning, let's go through a few more friendly reminders that will help you stay motivated and make real progress. Dizzy 3. Remember progress, not perfection. When you read, remember this simple truth. The goal is progress, not perfection. You don't need to understand every single word. You don't need to finish every page quickly. You don't need to be perfect, you just need to keep going. Sometimes you will read a sentence and not understand it. That's okay. Sometimes you will need to read the same paragraph 2 or 3 times. That's also okay. The key is to stay curious and keep reading. Over time, your understanding will grow naturally. You'll start to notice that words and phrases become familiar. You'll read faster, understand more, and feel more confident. So don't stress about being perfect, just enjoy learning. Every time you read, you're improving, even if you don't see it right away. Seedling 4. Stay consistent and patient. Building a reading habit takes time, and that's perfectly normal. Just like learning to play a musical instrument or ride a bike, it doesn't happen overnight. The most important thing is consistency. If you read a little every day, you will get better. Even 10 minutes a day can make a big difference. And if you miss a day, don't worry. Don't feel guilty or give up, just start again the next day. Language learning is not a race. It's a journey, step by step, day by day. Sometimes you'll feel stuck or you'll think your progress is slow. That's normal for every learner. Be patient with yourself. Every minute you spend reading counts, and all those small efforts will build up over time. Sunflower 5. Mix it up and enjoy the process. Reading should never feel like a chore. It should feel fun, interesting, and exciting. Don't limit yourself to only one kind of reading material. If you get bored, change things up. You can read short stories or novels that make you imagine and dream. Blogs and articles about topics you love. News stories to learn about the world. Comic books or webtoons for something light and funny. You can also try reading aloud. It helps your pronunciation and speaking skills. Or listen to audiobooks while following the text. This helps you with both listening and reading. You can read on your phone, on paper, or on an e-reader. What matters most is that you keep it interesting and enjoyable. When you enjoy reading, you'll want to do it more, and that's how learning becomes natural. Blossom 6. Set realistic goals and celebrate small wins. It's important to have clear, simple goals when you're building a habit. But your goals don't have to be big, they just need to be realistic and achievable. For example, read for 10 minutes each day. Finish one short story or article each week. Complete one book this month. When you reach your goals, celebrate them. Did you finish your first English book? Amazing! Did you read every day for a week? That's a big success. Did you understand a paragraph without translation? Wonderful progress. Each of these small wins is proof that you're growing. Celebrate them, maybe with your favorite snack, a cup of tea, or simply a smile of pride. These moments will keep you motivated and remind you how far you've come. Glowing Star 7. Take action now. Join a reading challenge. Now that you understand the power of reading, it's time to take action. One great way to stay committed is to join a reading challenge. It can be a simple one, like reading 15 minutes a day for 30 days, or finishing one book each month. You can write down your goals in a notebook or use an app to track your progress. It doesn't matter if you read from a physical book, an ebook, or even listen to an audiobook. What matters is that you start today. Each page you read is a small step toward your goal of fluency. Don't wait for tomorrow. Start now, even if it's just one page. And remember, once you begin, don't stop. Small steps every day will lead you to big changes. Handshake 8. Your next step, join the community. And finally, remember this: you are not alone. There are millions of English learners all around the world, people just like you, who are working to improve their reading and speaking skills. When you join a reading community, you get support, encouragement, and inspiration. You can share the books you're reading, talk about new words you learned, and get ideas from others. You can join online English learning groups, reading clubs on Facebook or WhatsApp, book discussions on Reddit or YouTube comments, or even start a small reading group with your friends. Together, you'll feel more motivated. When you see others reading, you'll want to keep going too. You'll feel proud to be part of a community that learns and grows together. Rainbow Final Reflection. Reading is not just about learning English. It's about connecting with ideas, people, and the world. It helps you think, dream, and grow in ways that go far beyond language. So today, make a promise to yourself. You'll keep reading a little every day with joy, patience, and purpose. Because every page you read brings you closer to your goals, your dreams, and your future self. Tulip closing section. Stay committed to your reading journey. Joining a community can be incredibly motivating. Whether you join an online book club, an English learning group, or just connect with friends or classmates who also want to improve their reading, the support from others can make a big difference. Share your reading goals with people who understand your journey. Talk about the books you're reading. Exchange ideas and recommendations. When you share what you're learning, you don't just grow alone, you grow together. You might even discover new books or topics that you never thought you'd enjoy. A good reading community helps you stay inspired, stay curious, and stay on track. Blossom 9. Stay committed to your learning journey. And finally, stay committed to your English learning journey. Every step you take, no matter how small, is progress. Don't give up just because something feels difficult. Keep pushing forward. Each book you finish, each article you read, each new word you learn, they are all small victories. Every page you turn is another step toward your goal of fluency. Remember, this isn't only about improving your English skills. It's about building a lifelong habit that will help you in every part of your life. Reading expands your mind. It builds your confidence. It gives you new ideas, new dreams, and a deeper understanding of the world. So today, I invite you to take the first step. Start reading, even if it's just for 10 minutes. Stay consistent. Join a reading challenge. Track your progress. Celebrate every small win along the way. And most importantly, enjoy the process. Learning a language is an exciting journey, and reading is one of the most enjoyable and powerful ways to grow your skills. Sparkling Heart Final Message. If you found this podcast helpful, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more tips, strategies, and friendly English lessons. We'd love to hear from you. Share in the comments what you're currently reading, or tell us what challenges you face on your English learning journey. Your experience might inspire someone else, too. Thank you for listening, and remember, keep reading, keep learning, keep growing. Your future self will thank you. Glowing Star.